this right. We are speaking with the singer Nick Reese of the band Joyous Wolf, and as we say in Montreal, bonjour, monsieur. How are you?
Salut, Mitch. I'm
Salut.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, doing very good. Been busy, which is new and nice and welcome to be busy. Working on Joyce Wolf's new record. So
Now, you've put out EPs in the past. Is this a full length that you're going to work on, or is this another EP?
full length album we're working on right now. Yeah.
Talk to me about the difference in the writing process. Do you sort of, because, when you write 4 or 5 songs, it's like, all right, let's just get these songs done and off we go. Are you thinking of they have to sort of all gel together, or are they 10 separate songs that you're just going to put on the same album?
I mean, I think they'll all gel together because we've been spending a lot of time on this. I mean, we've been writing this record since Place and Time came out back in the spring of 2019. So it's been ever since then we've just been, piece by piece. And what happened was, pandemic happened and we had some downtime, obviously. And then we came back. And when we started doing that, we just kind of like eased back into, our kind of mojo, I guess. And we all kind of sat down and we started writing new stuff. We actually went out to Joshua Tree. We stayed at a place there for about a week and wrote out there. And that was a couple months ago. That was back before the end of the year. And that was a lot of fun and that was good. And since then, we just kind of okay, we have all this new stuff, and we went back and looked at everything that we had been writing since
The dawn of time, right?
Yeah, and we kind of just like, okay, that part's cool. Let's do something. Maybe we can do something with that. We kind of held on to a bunch of stuff, and there's still a lot of random scraps that still may not ever find home, but it's kind of like, oh, that 10 seconds of that 90-minute jam were cool, and stuff like that. And yeah, we've just been kind of fortunate to have all this downtime because we're able to work on these really differently and flesh them out, as opposed to in the past, our previous work, really the biggest piece of work was Place and Time. And Place and Time was not the way that we wanted to do it anyways. Like, it was, a Place and Time was very kind of thrown together, and there were some songs on there that were older that had a lot of time, like Mother Rebel, and Undesired was a bit older too, and the rest of those were like we made, in the 4-week period, wrote, worked on it a bit, recorded, and it was done. And this time around, though, it's gonna be a lot different. Expect a very, very different Joyous Wolf coming
at you. Now, when I first saw the band, you were opening for Buck Cherry in Montreal, and then I went to see the Buck Cherry show in Ottawa, so I saw you, 3 days in a row. In fact, weren't you also, I think you might have come through town with somebody else. Who else were you on tour back then?
We were with Slash.
Oh, that's right. I saw that too. So what I found particularly interesting is you're definitely a live band, and live is where you shine. So when you get to making a new record, do you try to sort of capture that live vibe where you're just going to get, the 3-4 guys in the studio and you're going to lay it down kind of off the floor? Or how do you approach it? Because I think capturing the band live is essential.
Yeah, for us, it was extremely essential. I mean, on Place and Time, we were really didn't get to do that. We had to do it very new school, where it's like you track the drums and you track and we lose the thing that we pride ourselves on, which is like just the feel of how we play. And when we recorded Odyssey, that was the kind of the beginning of like, okay, this is the guy we want to make the record with. This is how we want to do it. And that's Jay Rustin, a fellow Canadian.
That's right. We love Jay from Ottawa, who's worked with everybody. I'm trying to think who he's done recently. Black Star Riders he's done.
He did
Anthrax.
He did Avatar too.
Avatar. Jay's great.
Yeah, he's amazing. He's a awesome guy, and he's pretty much become the fifth member of Joyous Wolf at this point. Like he just fits in with what our mindset. He knows exactly what we want to do, and he knows how to achieve what we want. And um, we everything that we recorded with him so far, it's just a knockout. I mean, we did Odyssey, and that was pretty much like, okay, yeah, this is the guy. This is the guy that needs to do this, that we want to work with, uh, and it all just fell together really well. But yeah, that we did that one live, and the guys got to just get their take. I remember on that specifically, they did a couple takes, and then like, oh, maybe we could splice this one and this one, and the guys are like, no, 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 we got to do it one more time, and then they just knocked it out. They got it, and that's the whole thing, is like, that's what we love about older records, is like, people wonder why is old music better. I'm like, because it's a performance. You're getting a performance. You're not getting we sat in chairs in front of a computer screen to a click. you know like, it's not what it is. The feel of the song, I mean, you can play Odyssey versus Place and Time, and you're going to hear a significant change in the dynamic of how the song feels and sounds. And that's what we wanted going forward, and we kind of are definitely achieving that. And all this time we've just been kind of boiling these songs, like really getting it into a place where it's liquid. Because in the past, like, we can you need to kind of sit with songs a little bit. We If we could go back, like the way that we played the EP on the road, like at the end of our touring year versus like when we first
Yep.
started to do it, like the songs felt better, everything was better. you know and if we could go back, that's what was like, we're in our minds. Like, we need to spend time with the music, we need to spend time, and we need to play it, and we need to live with it, instead of just kind of throwing it out there. And it could have been better. And that's kind of the thing, is like, we want to make sure when we go to record and lock down the rest of this album, like the majority of this album, that everything feels like we want it to feel, so there's no regrets in a way.
Where did you get to meet Jay? Is it the label that introduced you to him, or how do you meet Jay Rustin? Because he's one of the best, especially for heavy music.
I mean, yeah, he's close to our A&R guy. They're friends. Our A&R guy Dave and him were
Gotcha.
familiar. And it's funny how this happened. Was we didn't know what we were really going to do, how we were going to do it. We were in that thought process yet. We were getting there though. And I remember he had this free time at this studio, and he's asked Dave, "Hey, do you know anyone who would want this?" And Dave's like, "Hey, they're in SoCal. Maybe Joyous Wolf will do it." And we went in there and we did this track that we'd had for a long time. And we just were like, if we're going to record this, it just needs to be done right. And we had this opportunity, like, yeah, let's do that. Let's go do this song. And it just came out amazing. I remember he just sent us what we had done. Like, there was no mixing, there was no nothing. It was just what we played and what I sang that day. And he sent it to us, and we're like, wow, this sounds incredible. And we're like, and we sent him mixed notes. And it was funny. He's like, oh, I haven't mixed this yet. And we were all, what? And that was the thing. That's why we loved him, is because we're like, this guy captured us well enough for us to think that, oh, this is it. And that's the difference between a lot of modern production and now. And like, working with a guy with Jay, or what we did on Place and Time, was it was extremely streamlined and extremely simple, because we don't need a lot. We don't need a lot of hocus pocus. We're consummate, you know, musicians. We take what we do really seriously, and it's like, I'll sit with the song all day long, and if I don't like, even if it sounds great to everybody else, if it doesn't sound good to me, I want to do it until it sounds good to me. And he let us do that. And we heard the song back, and we're like, this is the guy. And we ended up going and doing Odyssey with him, and we did another track with him. We finished it during the early times of the quarantine, of the pandemic last year. And just got into two or three of us in a room, playing safe, obviously. And
By the way, how sick are we of talking about the pandemic?
I was moving past it.
It's so time to get past this every even almost every interview ends up, so how's the pandemic affecting you? It's like,
Yeah,
I just want to talk about how rock and roll's affecting you.
hopping over it. I was just saying, yeah.
No, it's true. Hey, just real
But
quick. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I'm the same. Yeah, we did another track with him, and it just gets better every time. And now we kind of have a benchmark of and beyond of what we want to do. And I think I'm really excited. I mean, I could be more excited because I just know it's going to be something special. I do. I believe that firmly.
Oh, it's going to be great. I'm looking forward to it. Now, before I get back to the music, I want to just quickly talk about the name, because I love the name Joyous Wolf, and I love the T-shirts that you have. But you had gone through a bunch of names thanks to a name generator, including Global Death and Intense Resentment and a bunch of others. Talk to me about the choice of the name, because ultimately it becomes your brand, and it's what you got to sort of wear the flag. And
It's brand now, so yeah. I mean,
can you imagine being you're Nick from Intense Resentment? Oh, you've disappeared.
sorry about that. What happened here?
No worries, you're back on. Oh no, you're not there. But can I hear? Can you hear me? Yes.
Check here from where we were.
Yeah.
There's no thought, dude. We had a show in like 2 days, and we were sitting at this restaurant by the practice space, and we're like, we need a fucking name. Like, we kept trying names, like we're like, saying random things, and no one liked. None of us liked each other's ideas. So we're like, okay, we need to go somewhere that it's not coming from one of us. It needs to be just something random. And Blake knew that there was a website that you could just generate random band names, and we sat there for like 2 hours laughing at crying, laughing at how stupid these band names were. And they were way stupider than the ones that like I remember, like Global Death and Intense. Global Death's fucking funny as hell, but
Intense Resentment was another one. Blake says.
yeah, exactly. We're just laughing, losing our minds, like, and to my this, it's been mixed up a lot. But what I remember, like verbatim, is later we continued to use that, and it was like Joyous House and Silver Wolf, and there were like two names that we did scrolled like one after the other. It's like Joyous is kind of cool, Joyous, and then Silver Wolf, no, Joyous Wolves, Joyous Wolves, Joyous Wolf. Cool, fine, that works. We'll change it later. Never did.
Well, it worked. It worked out. I personally think it's a great name. I will unfortunately circle back to the pandemic, but for a band like yourself, trying to establish yourself, it is important to be on those bills with Slash and with Buck Cherry and others. It's important to show the fans what you've got, which you can't do right now. So just tell me, how important is it? Am I overstating it? No,
Not at all. I mean, no. Like, think of it like this. I think we are extremely fortunate because we made a decision to murder ourselves in 2019, like we did. We played 120 shows in 7 months, and and we had never done anything like that before. So that was like, it was unlike anything. I think I had a total of maybe 5 days off, besides when I was out with pneumonia for a brief portion, and I still played shows while I had that. So, um, yeah, it was brutal, but I feel extremely fortunate because, again, I see a lot of bands near other guys in our circles, other bands, other groups, not having that, what we had. We were early to the party. We started running around the country in 2017, and we just didn't stop, until we couldn't, had to stop, and that helped us a lot because we covered the United States, I think, 3 times in 2019, and then we also did Canada twice, and that was next level. And then, in the beginning of the year, we got to go down to southern Mexico, to Cozumel, when we were doing Shiprocked, and so we were not planning on stopping. Again, we were supposed to be in Europe last summer, and again, it's all rescheduled for this summer. So cross your fingers,
Fingers crossed.
hope
Yeah. Well,
um,
yeah, you're getting the vaccines done in the States. We're not getting them done here, so hopefully you'll be able to tour the States and Europe, and we'll just sit in Canada and keep praying, I guess. But
I'm sure it'll get there. I'm sure it'll get going.
yeah,
You guys handle that a lot better than we do anyway, so I'm sure it'll take you a fraction of the time. But freaking yeah, no, it's extremely important. But like I said, I feel very fortunate that we did that, because there's a lot of groups that were just about to get started, who just put records out, who just signed deals, did this thing, and this happened right then. And that's the worst possible time that it could happen. And I'm glad that for whatever reason, people have kept us in the conversation. We don't have, I don't feel like we have nearly the presence that some of these other new rock bands have, but we're always in the conversation. And that always makes me very proud of the work that we've done. And we know that 90% of that, was just because we were a good live band, and the rest of it, just to follow. And now it's kind of like, well, okay, we've proven that we're a good live band, but now we want to show that we can actually put a full work of something out. And that's what it's going to be. It's not just a bunch of songs that are, it's definitely a thought out
process.
Animal.
In terms of the sound, because it is 2021, and a lot of bands are into the loops and the Pro Tools and the auto tune and the this and the that. I mean, computers are punching out albums these days. How important is it for you to stay that organic thing, and is it a calculated risk in the sense that maybe Nick of Joyous Wolf should be doing, songs like The Weeknd or songs like Post Malone? Forget this rock and roll thing. No Post Malone for you?
No, thank you.
No, but is it a calculated risk to stick to this kind of music and not just go, hey, let's just do the thing that everybody's.
A wise man once told me. He said, Mick, there's 7.5 billion people on this earth. Not everyone's listening to Post Malone. And it's like, I love jazz. I love jazz music, and I'm plugged in to to that part of the world. And that's not what they play on Top 40 radio. But millions upon millions of people enjoy it around the world. Rock is still the biggest genre on earth. The rest of the world, I mean, America's always whatever. America is flip flops. I mean, I guarantee you, in 5 years they're going to be into it again, because they're going to get bored. That's what they always do. They get bored and they move on to the next thing, and they go back to this and they go back to that, go back to this. Pop punk is relevant again, dude. Pop punk should be long dead. But if they want to bring it back, they can. So I don't really give a shit, to be honest with you. All I'm doing is like, I work in alternative rock music. That's what I do. It's what I like. It's what I want. Where I chose the vehicle I choose to put myself into, and I don't. When I see people try to like do like this weird half and half stuff, fine, whatever they want to do. What I want to do is this, and I don't think it's a calculated risk. I think 150%. The number one thing is, if your music is good, then people will like it.
Yeah, and if you have a great performance, they'll buy it too. But it's just funny because you hear all the time, rock is dead, rock is dead, rock is dead, and I go, no, it's not. I go, rock has become the jazz of this world. Every single city has a jazz fest. Every single city has this thing. Is it on Top 40 radio? No. Was it big in the 1920s? Sure. So that's where rock is. Rock. I mean, how many rock festivals are in the U.S., for example? Almost every city has one.
Well, let me put it this way: rock is dead in a way, because when people say rock is dead, I'll say it's dead in a lot of ways, because they won't let go. People won't let go. That I always tell people, I'm like, if you want rock to continue, you got to let go, and people won't let go. They want to hold on to the imagery. They want to hold on to everything about it. Like, I don't like I don't care what I'm wearing, like when I go on stage. I don't care as long as I like it. Like I don't. People are like, oh, it's not very rock and roll or this or that, or that song you covered on your Instagram. Like that's not very rock and roll. I don't give a fuck if it's not very rock and roll to you or to your mom or to your cousin Ed. I don't give a shit. Like, like because people got to let go, man. Like it's not the 1980s, it's not the 70s. They can let go. You got legacy chasers or whatever. There's a lot of young people who love rock and roll music. A lot of them. A lot of them listen to it. It's not this thing where people just take it and they spin the story and try to make it this thing that it's not. We need to take the crown back from hip hop. Shut up. You know, there's different genres of music and there's different people who appreciate the genres of music. I don't think rock's going anywhere. Like, do I feel like rock is gonna become jazz? No. Rock is such a broad thing. Jazz is not, in the sense of like it's digestibility. Like rock and roll music is easy to enjoy. When it's played well, and that's kind of the number one thing. Is like I focus more on the content of what I'm trying to purvey. Like I'm thinking, I hate calling it content. I'm thinking of the.
That's right. You're a content provider. Didn't you know that, Nick? You're just a content provider.
Yeah, I'm just.
You're like an Instagram influencer.
Yeah, I'm just trying to. I'm just trying to inject something into it, and that's the main thing. People gotta accept that, and they gotta let it happen. Because or else you're just gonna have more and more. Like I'm gonna play it exactly like XXX, and that's the style it is, and it's like again, which is why I hate the whole throwback rock thing. Because I mean, it's like I guess it's only throwback because we're not using computers. I don't know, like because we're just. I mean, at any other point, no one ever called a band that. No one ever called bands throwback bands. It's like only now it's that because I guess for some reason it has to be. I don't know. I didn't make that up. I didn't Listen, volunteer for.
People are always searching to label. I mean, growing up through the 80s, we didn't have hair metal. And then somewhere around 2005, they went, oh, those were hair bands. And you go, they weren't fucking hair bands. They were Poison. They were. So, people love to label. It's just the way it goes.
Yeah. And I totally get that. But at the same time, it's harmful. It's harmful because it makes it sound like
you've got nothing fresh to say.
Yeah, and that's like that's my number one focus on our latest stuff is to just prove, not even to anyone else, just to myself, if anything, is to prove to myself. And it's difficult to live with. It's difficult to be motivated sometimes because of the community. And it's like we just do our thing, and everyone's gonna do their thing. And like I said a million times, like I support anyone who picks up rock music and is trying to play it now. There's so many great bands, so many, countless now. And
I agree. I think some of the best music's come out in the last 10 years, quite frankly.
I mean, I don't know about that, but like, I mean,
you're not looking in the right places. But there's a lot of great. Well, listen, there's a lot of great music coming out of Europe.
I'm saying I am looking. I trust me. I my ear is always on the thing, and I'm saying, but I was being like, I just had to say that to myself. I'm like, best ever. I mean, maybe in some examples, but I don't know if I could say that generally. But that's just me. I don't know. Like, it really just depends. It depends on where your taste lies, but I'm not stupid enough to think because a great lesson that I learned when I was younger in other groups, I was always chasing the radio, and I was always being like, okay, I need to write a song like that. But by the time I'd get good at making a song like that, or it being palatable to the ear, that was over, and the next thing had moved on. And so, I need to make a song like that. But that's the thing. That's the problem, is that people that try to buy into trends, that try to buy into this stuff, as if, which is weird to me, because like anyone in the music industry should know that nothing lasts. Like nothing. The only stuff that lasts is when it's good. When it's just good, it's good. It doesn't matter. That's something that I truly believe in. If it's good, undeniably good, you can't. There's a reason why, people think like. Not every band from the 70s is still played. Only the best ones are.
That is
Not
correct.
every band in the '90s is played.
Thank God.
Only the best ones are.
There weren't any good ones. There were no good bands in the 90s. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like that, but that's something that like I learned really early on was I'm like because things didn't start to happen in any fashion for me until I just stopped listening to the radio and stopped chasing that and just started to do. I was like, I'm just gonna do whatever I want. And when I made that decision, that's when my career turned into something that wasn't just me playing in a garage with my friends. And suddenly things, started to happen, and record deal and whatever and yada 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 and blah blah blah, and traveling the world. And yeah, and again, we never planned to be part of this. People call it a movement, which I think is cool. I'm happy to be a part of it. There's a lot of great bands involved that I respect, and great players and singers. So that's really cool. But it was never like a thought. There was never a moment where we're like, yeah. And I think if anything, we've kind of refound ourselves in this period, and it's been really good, and it's been very healthy. And I think our sound has developed like a lot. And we're not gonna be the same band. If anyone wants place and time to happen again, I have a very rude awakening.
Right, because that was a place and time. Let me wrap this up just by saying one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you was because I was so impressed with the live show. I mean, I saw you in Montreal, and I didn't know who the heck you were, and I went, oh, that was good. And then the next night going over to Ottawa, I went, okay, now I got to be in the bar for this because I know they're good. And you delivered. It is a great rock and roll show, and it is not a copy of anything else. It is Joyous Wolf doing Joyous Wolf music, I should say, and it's terrific. And I just keep wishing you more and more success because, you see these bands and you go, nah, they don't got it. And then you see a band like yours, you go, yep, they've got it. And if they do it right, they're gonna get big, and they're gonna have all the accolades.
We're just, all we're trying to do, the number one thing, is everything else aside is we just want to do something that we're proud of and something that we feel is meaningful, at least to us. And if other people hear it and they feel something from it, then we accomplished everything that we ever could. Because, now people all over the world have heard our stuff. And that's the greatest feeling in the world, to know that it's good enough to listen, not just one time, but maybe a second or a third time. And that's all that matters to me. And, we wouldn't be anything without, people like you and all these other amazing folks around the world and in our home state and, in Tokyo or whatever, anywhere in these places where people are playing our music today and tomorrow and the next day and until, the meteor hits. That's for me, all you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm looking for looking forward to the next Joyous Wolf show because I know it's going to be top quality and.
It'll be something. It'll be amazing to finally be like, is this gonna happen? Are we actually gonna do this? That's gonna be a weird feeling. I hope that it comes sooner rather than later.
I'm hoping. I was talking to Eddie Van Halen's guitar tech the other day, and he goes, "It's not gonna happen till 2024," and I was like, "Oh, Tom, don't say that. It's gonna happen before then." But on that,
I have a feeling that's going to be the case.
Yeah, it's gonna end of 2021, but definitely 2022. But on that, as we say in Montreal, merci beaucoup. Thank you so much, and stay in touch, and let's do another one when the album comes out. And Jay, smart pick, very smart pick.
Sounds good, man.
Cheers.
Cheers.
All right, that was good.